You can hear this. You are not alone. This is the resistance.
It's been a while. So let's take a look at what we've seen. Trump won the election. That was pretty nifty. Didn't really think it was going to play out that way, but it did. So, I'm allowed to be wrong, just like you're allowed to be wrong, just like most people in the world are allowed to be right when they happen to be right. I don't know. I don't know what his actual globalist role is. Is this the next president that gets assassinated to really fuck shit up? Could be. Is this the next presidential impeachment in history to be preparing? Could be. Could he just do the 4 years and get voted out and have a new person in? That as well could be. What could actually affect any of this? War. War is a game changer for just about any nation in the world. We all know this. So, what the hell are we fucking doing, people? This shit's dangerous. Okay? Remember when I told you about the hostages and appropriate escalations for Canada? Yeah. Remember in my video, I said I'd make an example of the people who took the Canadian hostages? And I think I said something along the lines of, I would drop the biggest bomb available to me on the coordinates where the Canadian hostages were actually executed. Turns out MOAB fell extremely close to where those Canadian hostages got fucking executed. I found that interesting. I was like, oh, cool. That's kind of cool. Because if y'all haven't been paying attention, every time John Connor speaks, Alex Jones twists it and fucking Trump says it. So who controls Trump? Is it Trump? Is it Alex Jones? Or is it John Connor? Let's find out. Alex Jones doesn't talk about Judaism and Jewish extremism found within the religion. Nobody talks about it. What the fuck? I could turn around and say bomb all those ragheads, but you ain't gonna ask me why they're wearing rags in the first place? So we're gonna start just leveling the Middle East. This is what we're gonna do. If we're gonna do it, just fucking do it. Deal with the consequences later. But stop systematically destroying things. Is that what you're waiting for? Are you waiting for the population of the Western Hemisphere to say, just hit the big red button, we're done with it? Are you waiting for us to beg? Do it! Hit the big fucking red button, and let's see how far it brings us. Not very far. I already know it's not going to go very far. Maybe 10 of those fuckers will go in the air. Maybe 10. Some will be intercepted. I don't know what happens if an inappropriate interception happens X amount of feet above us. It'll be the last fucking interception we ever run now, won't it? So, let's not be too hasty with the nuclear trigger. Especially considering half of this goddamn planet doesn't even realize World War II started on 9/11. The other half don't even know that Israel's fucking responsible for it. Oh, did I just trigger you? Yeah, Israel fucking did 9/11. Leave the Muslims alone. Yeah, they're not even... The amount of hatred that I'm feeling right now, that I'm trying really hard not to portray as ignorant, unintelligent, uninformed hatred, is extremely fucking immense for me right now. Okay? When we understand simple things in human history, big things in human history really start to make sense. For instance, did you know that the real Jews of the world, biblical shit Jewish people, yeah, their asses were fucking black. Black as fucking night. Jewish people, the true Jewish people of the world, are fucking black. Real Jews ain't not no Benjamin Netanyahu looking motherfuckers. Okay? Those are Khazarian Jews. People that converted to Judaism as a last plight to fucking survive. Is that too much to grasp? It's a religion, not a fucking people apparently. But then we're told they are a people. Well, no. Because last time I checked, Pharaoh, let my people go, and all of that shit, that was like the real Jew. Right? When you actually start looking into some of this shit, you're going to realize one very particular thing. The real Jewish people have a bad habit of getting caught up in fucking slavery. Can you think of anybody else who just got out of fucking slavery? I don't know. Throughout my studies, I found out that the white man was only taken into slavery, I think, twice through human history. Maybe a little bit more. I'm not a fucking genius. Now, I'm not talking like internment camp military slaves. I'm not talking Holocaust slave. I'm not talking Japanese internment camp slave. I mean, serve me my fucking supper in my house slave. That is slavery and servitude. True bondage. Not no POW shit when the conflict is over. Most of the stuff peters out in the end. I'm talking about people taking another human being and making them a fucking workhorse. The only people that share that history happen to be the African American people. Guess who I found? Guess who taught me this little teeny tiny itsy bitsy teeny fucking piece of history that's been buried for the last fucking some odd whatever years? Yeah, Adolf Hitler's the one that came out with that one. The guy that supposedly hated Jews told us outright that those aren't the real Jews. Now, for all you religious people out there, last time I checked, there's a little fucking verse in the Revelations. Yeah. First question, do you believe that we're living in the last days? Is it possible that we're living in the last days? If the answer to that question is yes, guess what? Guess what exists in the last days? Open that fucking book into Revelations. Read the whole book. It's not big. You're going to find a little spot in there. It tells you in the last days, fake Jews will rule the world. Ouch. It's a little bit too much fucking hateful information right there. To understand that a fake people will rule the world and bring forward an absolute catastrophe that must come to pass, cannot be prevented. From what we understand, this shit can't be prevented. We just gotta live with it. I'm sorry, I'm not just going to live with it because some book written by a fucking monarch named King James tells me I have to fucking live with it. Instead, when I go into the New Testament again, I want to start looking at what that little guy, that Jesus fellow, he said some shit, right? Yeah, and don't get me started about fucking Muslims and Jesus and all that, telling me that you don't like the fact that a bunch of fucking Arabs are coming to your country preaching their religion. That's funny. Where was Jesus born? Where was his religion created? Where were his followers born? Answer to all that is the fucking Middle East. Okay? Jesus was a Jew. He taught his own received him not. Who the fuck did he teach? The first Jews to follow Jesus. You're right. They happen to be the first Muslims, you fucking ignorant piece of shit. And then you're going to turn around and tell the white Christians, we don't fucking know our ass from a hole in the ground. We're reading a book a king wrote. You're wondering why we're all fucking confused. That whole 2012 Mayan calendar bullshit, right? Wasn't that all about signaling the coming of a new age? When Jesus was asked, when the next Passover would be, which we find out later is when the next age will begin and all this nonsense, and Jesus said, follow the water bearer. Follow him into his house, and you'll be fine. Okay? Okay. The Jews had their shot. Moses did his thing. Jesus came, he did his thing. Christians are all over the world saying, yay, 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 awesome. Okay, we got that part done. Apparently, we're supposed to be in the last days. Some of you watching this video agreed that we're in the last days, so we're going to go with that narrative. If we're in the last days, then we have fake Jews walking the earth, so now we can't trust Judaism anymore. Christianity is dying. We knew it's dying. We knew it was going to die. The Bible told us it was going to die. It happens. We're at that threshold. We're waiting for that Messiah. That's what we're waiting for. Okay? Guys, it's not coming. That's the thing. It's not coming. You know why? Because the Antichrist is a system, not a fucking person. It's not a person. It's a system. It's a way of life. And to destroy the beast known as the Antichrist, the only one that can do it is Jesus. Okay. All right, the only one that can do it is Jesus. But the Antichrist is a system. During the height of the Roman Empire, one of the greatest systems of tyrannical rule known to mankind, they couldn't handle one Jesus. They had to kill him. One was too fucking many. They couldn't handle one Jesus. Although the religious teachings are skewed beyond recognition, if I took every Christian sect on the planet and just said, half of you are just as powerful as Jesus was in your convictions and your beliefs, your standards and your morals. They couldn't handle one. How many Christians exist in the world? Half of them being maybe just as good as Jesus was then? If the Antichrist is a system, then the return of Christ is us. Simple-minded folk realizing that, yeah, I'd rather follow the 10 Commandments than the bullshit meridian of thousands of laws that you call a goddamn courtroom. It would just be easier, would it not, to follow 10 rules instead of 10,000? Is this not the point? Is this not the point he was making? In the last day, you would rather live by my rule than the rule supposed on demand. I don't think he was trying to be too fucking parabolic there. I think that was more of a, let's take this part here and make sure that it's literal. Do you know why I also think Donald Trump is president? How do you attack the United States of America in truthful and all honesty? How do you do it? If you want to do it with proper intent and conquer a nation, how do you do it? Attack the president. Wouldn't even matter which country I'm talking about then. The most logical, simplistic, realistic thought required to attack the United States of America is to attack the president. But we live in an era of the world where we don't like killing our own people very much, not for political gain. That story always comes out in the end. They don't want to do that narrative again. It's so passé. So now they have to approach it differently. So how could you attack the United States without physically attacking American soil? Well, you would attack a military base. That's normally the approach that you would go. This is what Kim Jong-un is saying about fucking North Korea. And when North Korea says that there will be an attack on American soil, even if they throw the word California out there because it's fun, that's not what they're talking about. They can't reach the mainland. Stop pretending that they can. Stop scaring yourself. What they can reach is Guam. Guam happens to house a military base for the United States of America. Therefore, nuclear strike on Guam would very literally be a nuclear strike on American soil. And oh boy, the headlines would look beautiful, wouldn't they? Yet not one state on the North American continent got fucked up. But you'd be all pissed off, wouldn't you? But the truth is that that's not enough. Because if waging a world war, the attacker has no choice, especially if he's going to be the first one coming out of the gates. the attacker has no choice but to launch several preemptive strikes as well as a formidable, strengthened, fucking crazy attack. Okay? In order to do this, the United States of America will require more than one false flag at one given time in order to scare the people up enough to hit that little red button we were talking about earlier. How could we do that? How could this be done? Let's be realistic. If you had to plan it, how would you do it? And then once it's planned, do you think it's actually feasible to do? If you get all stupid about it and use a bunch of technology, anything's possible. But let's be realistic. How would a person do it? I'll tell you how I'd do it. I just attack something Trump owns somewhere. Because by attacking something he owns, you physically attack the president. And what happens when you attack the president? What is that referred to? An attack on the nation. Now do you know why Donald Trump's president? They don't have to hit anybody at home. They can just blow a few things abroad and they're attacking the president. And now, you blow up Trump fucking Tower somewhere and he gets to actually protect his own interests under the guise of fucking national interest. And then when you start to understand that fucking Israel did 9/11, then you're going to realize what's happening here. I don't know if you guys really know a whole fucking lot about what happened in World War II and what made the Germans pissed off at the Jews. If you don't know why they got mad, okay, if you just think that some guy just got up out of nowhere and just started fucking ethnically cleansing his country for no good goddamn reason, you're a moron. Death and blood is fucking expensive and you better have a good reason to be spilling it. That's the raw deal. Anybody, anywhere that's trying to do anything that involves violence, death, and blood, it's an expensive commodity. So why? Did you guys know the Germans were winning World War I? Did you know? And this is before Hitler rose to power. Fucking Hitler was a grunt in the goddamn trenches during World War I. So make sure that you don't get your information skewed here. Okay? World War I, not World War II, not Hitler's Germany. Fucking Germany, World War I. They were winning. And they actually offered Great Britain peace terms. They didn't have to. They could have wiped us off the fucking map if they wanted to. They had the technology to do it at the time. It would have taken a little longer. They wouldn't have been able to just hit a button, but they would have fucked us up real good. But they didn't. Maybe the Germans were evolving a little bit faster than we thought they were, and they evolved compassion before any of us did. But you don't know what a Zionist is. So it's going to be hard to explain to you. The Zionists went to Great Britain and said, you don't have to concede defeat. We shall demonstrate to you how you will win. You need the United States in the war to do it. You need the United States in the war to win. The Zionists told this to Great Britain. That was a requirement to win, that they could not do it otherwise. The Americans were young enough, vibrant enough, strong enough, not just strong enough, quite legitimately powerful enough to win the First World War on behalf of Great Britain. It was possible. So, what did we have to do then? Had to get the Americans into the war. The agreement was signed in 1916. When did fucking Hitler come into power? Long after that shit. So don't tell me that Hitler's persecution led to the Jewish wrongdoings of a time before his leadership. Don't be a fucking moron. Okay? Because that's like saying today all the conflict that's happening with Muslims. Just change the words. It's the same fucking thing. But 1916, after the war, they wanted Palestine. It's funny. Nation of Palestine wasn't involved in the war. It had no gains, no losses. There'd be no real fucking reason to carve up Palestine for anybody. But somewhere along the way, Great Britain promised the Zionists Palestine in exchange for getting the Americans into the war. Okay. That's a useful piece of information. Somebody sold out a country that literally didn't fucking belong to them. Ooh. That's not cool, man. That's like China saying to Russia, if you help me, I'll give you Canada. Fuck you, you'll give him Canada. I'll give you a fucking smallpox problem. Like I've said, don't piss off certain countries in the world. You don't know terrorism. You don't know the no fear of death. You don't know it yet. Said it in many videos before, you think you want to go to war. You've thoroughly thought it through. But the truth is you don't want to go to war. Nobody wants to go to war. Everybody has too much to lose. That's the beauty of flipping technology. If I give enough people enough shit, they're not going to want to lose it all. And if they have enough shit that they don't want to lose, there's a strong possibility that we won't light the world on fire. Pretty solid rational reasoning when you think about it. So why am I so upset? Why am I so upset? Because everybody gets upset about how, like, Justin Trudeau treats Muslims coming into the country. And then on the flip side of the same coin, they say, why isn't he doing anything for the Jewish people? Because he can't? You ignorant fuck. He can't. He has to make a choice. Justin Trudeau must either help the Jews or help the Muslims. There is no gray area here. There is nowhere that he can maybe help both. The only area where he maybe helps both is when Canada sends $6.8 billion to a country that bombs schools and hospitals. That's what he tries to do to keep the Jewish people away from him. Did you guys know that Israel demanded in the United Nations that we have UN observers in our country like we're some third world Syria? Israel demanded that. Requested that that be done to Canada. Stephen Harper stood up. The only time I was ever proud of my fucking conservative leader. Stephen Harper stood up in the United Nations and said, I will not be lectured about human rights violations from the largest human rights violation on the fucking planet. But now, Israel didn't attack on 9/11. No, it probably wasn't them that attacked USS Liberty either, eh? Yet eyewitnesses say that they saw the military insignias of Israel on the fighter jets that attacked the USS Liberty. Don't tell me they don't have a fucking track record of attacking people and hoping nobody knows. Nobody talks about the 5 non-Arabs celebrating on 9/11. Nobody talks about that. It's always hang these ragheads, burn those Muslims. But no one talks about the 5 people that were actually happy that 9/11 happened. They were Israeli Mossad agents. They were released and sent back home to their own country, and they do interview upon interview about what happened in the United States on that day. And they were happy it happened. Yet just about every Muslim nation in the world immediately denounced Islamic terrorism before we even called it Islamic terrorism. Oh, you guys are fucking idiots. Worried about Iran and what it's going to do with its nuclear weapons while you buy all your fucking gas from Saudi Arabia. Don't tell me to love one Muslim and hate another one. That shit gets confusing. That's like me telling you don't hate the Jews, hate the Zionists. Do you know what the fuck I'm trying to tell you? No, it sucks, doesn't it? Stop doing that. Stop confusing people. People don't like that shit. You start confusing people, you end up getting shot. Why? Because you couldn't be clear and concise and tell people the fucking truth. So they just JFK you and call it a fucking day. You can't be doing stuff like that. So you are either with Israel through and through, or you're with the umpteen billion fucking Muslims on the planet who have been sitting on their hands saying, don't worry, no, they'll figure it out. Just give them time. They're dumb, but they will figure it out. This is what every Muslim in the fucking world is looking at us like right now. Don't they know that Israel did that because Israel doesn't have the army to attack Muslims, so they needed to get the United States in? So Israel bombed 2 towers, and then when the towers fell, they blamed every Muslim nation that surrounded them. And then what happened? The strongest, largest, most powerful military on the fucking planet destroyed 7 countries in 5 fucking years. That's what happened. And do you know who else fell victim to that shit? Germany. Before World War II, nobody knew that it was Zionists that started a global fucking boycott of German goods. Did you know that? Remember as a kid, go to the toy section, right? Fucking made in China, made in Taiwan, made in Russia. Oh, fuck, this shit's made in India. Yeah. I don't remember seeing a whole lot of made in Germany's. Because the international Zionists of the fucking world had boycotted one nation. A nation that required 2/3 of its economy for export. So, let me bring this into some of a context that you might more readily understand, you ignorant pieces of shit. Okay, so we used the United States as a foreground, something that, everybody kind of gets it, okay? So you got the Americans, okay? And now we got supposedly this immigration problem, right? Coming from Mexico into the States. Don't worry, we understand, right? You guys call it an immigration problem when Mexicans come into the States. Yeah. Well, when Americans come into Canada, yeah, you're fucking refugees, okay? Because you can't even handle Donald Trump, okay? Go back to your country, no one cares, and fix it. And if you have to shoot the man to fix it, yeah, buy the gun in Canada and go fucking shoot the man to fix it. If that's what you believe you need to do, go do it. But get the fuck out of my country and your bigotry and your racism and everything that you fucking have. Yeah, get the fuck on the other side of the line, buddy boy. You can't even handle a president? You're going to come in here? This is the most multicultural, diverse country on the face of the earth. You can't even handle Trump. Don't come here looking for help. You're going to get laughed at. It's the only reason why we let you in. Because you're funny. Because you can't handle your own president. Jesus Christ. This kind of shit didn't happen in Lincoln's day. This kind of shit didn't happen back then. You stayed in your country. You fixed your own shit. You need to help someone, you helped someone. But you helped somebody who actually needed help. You guys got running water. You got food, you got hospitals, you got guns, tanks, bombs, planes, trains, automobiles. You don't need no fucking help from Canada. Get the back over on your lawn. Jesus Christ. Hiking through the middle of the fucking winter so we feel bad? Yeah, it's summertime now. Your ass is getting fucking thrown right over the goddamn border now. We don't care. It's a winter thing, trust me. It really is a winter thing. It's called human compassion. We know it's cold outside, so we're not going to leave you out there to die. Seems like the right thing to do. Come on in, I'll heat up my igloo. When the grass is green, yeah, get the fuck out. It's not that hard, guys. Especially when you guys are funding a national terrorist. You guys give billions and billions of dollars to a country that kills women and children. We have to bring these women and children to our country because you won't stop fucking killing them. You think we want you here? Fucking stay over there. We don't need that. Bunch of people bowing down to a fucking book written by a king, promoting the people that killed the fucking savior. No, stay over there. Because you obviously don't understand what kind of war is at play here. Okay? The Jews used the Romans to kill Christ. Well, that's interesting. The Jews used fucking United States to kill Germany. That's cool. Well, who are they going to use to fucking get rid of the states? I don't know. China, Russia, Iran, fucking North Korea. There's enough of them out there to pick. You're going to get sold out just like they did. And I understand that one little quote now. The worst thing is I don't like fascism. Never was a big fan of the fucking Nazis, and I was raised to hate Hitler. So, forgive me when I open a couple of history books and realize that a man went to war because a group of religious nutcases ruined his country's economy. I'm sorry if I understand why. I get it now. You start fucking with an entire nation's economy? So imagine now that a bunch of Canadians came to the United States. And the United States helped us. And we did so fucking good. We helped grow the nation and prosper. Yeah. And then we talked to all of our other Canadian buddies that were in Russia and China and everywhere else. Yeah. And we said, fuck the United States. I want all of you, to boycott them. I don't want them to be able to sell another fucking lick of fuel. I don't want to be able to sell water. I don't want to be able to sell any of their goods to any of the countries that you live in. How do you think the Americans would treat the Canadians that were living in their fucking country? I don't know. Concentration camp sounds just about fucking right to me, doesn't it? We would be rounded up and fucking executed if that's what we did to a country. But we can't talk about what they did to Germany before Germany fucked them up, now are we? We're only allowed to start the story at the fucking Holocaust. This is where we start. Don't bother asking why. All these people died and it's a horrible thing. You're right. The loss of life and blood is a horrible fucking expense and we should never ever fucking spend it. Don't ever try to hide from me why it was spent. Because that shit don't fucking float. Because history is repeating itself. You're telling me you're worried about a fucking Middle Eastern religion when you pray to fucking Jesus? Oh my God, give your fucking head a scratch. First and foremost, the guy ain't fucking white. Okay? Jesus comes from the Middle East. He looks more like your fucking Mohammedan neighbor than he looks like you dumbass. But sure, feel free to burn all the fucking ragheads out there. Considering you're literally killing Jesus' bloodline. People talk about, maybe Jesus was a man. Not so deified at all. Flawed, just like all men on earth. And you know what? Just like every other man on the planet, probably had a wife. Most likely had children. Seeing what happened to that fucker is a real good indication why a group of people would have liked to hide this beautiful... The first family that ever needed witness fucking protection was Christ's family. Because they hid them real fucking fast, didn't they? Who do you think populates that side of the fucking world? Oh my God, you're dumb. We are so dumb. We were fooled. We were tricked. We were lied to. We killed children on the face of a bold lie. I don't know how that makes you feel inside, but it kind of turns my fucking guts personally. But feel free. To be happy. To Trump, dropped MOAB. Yeah, biggest non-nuclear weapon ever dislodged on the battlefield. Yeah, because they kind of needed to use it since they were blowing up the fucking tunnels that the CIA built for Osama bin Laden to defeat the Soviets. That bomb had nothing to do with terrorists. That bomb had everything to do with cleaning up the mess and making sure nobody ever found out what the fuck we did. And yes, I say we, and I know I'm Canadian, and most of this was American Black Ops that went fucking horribly wrong. But the problem is if you bust a nuke at the atmosphere above the North American continent, it goes dark for us too. So, the last time you went to war with Canada, you lost. Don't do it again. Because we're a hell of a lot more intelligent than we were in 1812. Our weapons are a hell of a lot more sophisticated than they were in 1812. And we beat the shit out of you simply by locking you up in churches and burning it to the fucking ground. So calm your goddamn nerves. Trying to fucking jump over this border, coming into our country. Don't need to build a wall. Terribly fucking cheap to make a few Canadians stand by the wall with a few guns and just pick you off on the way in. Hell of a lot cheaper. Cheaper on labor. Don't need to be moving no brick, no mortar, no big fucking machinery. Here's an AK-47. Because I won't use no AR-15 American-made bullshit. I'll contact the Russians and I'll let them know, guys, you got snow, we got snow. We're going to have to fucking figure this out, but this has to change. The United States, I'll tell you what it needs. Regime change. Regime change. Not presidential candidacy, political party change. No, the whole fucking government institution has to fall to the ground. The only two things that should actually be really left in the United States is medical and fucking sewage. That's it. You get running water and you get fucking aspirin. Figure out how solar panels work to turn the lights back on, you dumbass. Telling us to hate all the Muslims while you buy from the fucking leading Muslim human rights violator on the planet. You're a fucking hypocrite. I hope somebody does one of two things, okay? Either somebody comes to their senses and realizes that we were lied to and World War III started on 9/11 and it's time to finish it, okay? We all got kids now. We're all fucking getting too old for this shit. This shit started when I was 17 years old. I was 7 fucking teen. I'm 34. Fix this shit. We got enough weapons, bombs, tanks, ammunition. You want to go to war? Go to fucking war. But don't pretend. Don't act like you're dumb. Oh, we got to do this like this because they're going to find out. If they find out, kill them. It's war. It's over now. This is done. We don't need to do this anymore. We try to protect people. We've tried integrity. We've tried, ceasefire, UN. You want to send a clear message across the board? Yeah, dismantle the United Nations. It failed, just like the League of Nations failed before the Second World War. That's what's happening. History is repeating itself. It's repeating itself and superimposing itself upon itself in order to repeat itself. And this time, the curtain's going to come down. It ain't going to be no iron curtain. It ain't going to be just a mushroom cloud. It's going to be the end of human civilization. Not the human species. What we recognize as a civilized creature will come to an end. Because we can't figure out that a bunch of Talmudic pedophiles destroyed 2 buildings? We can't figure that out. We can't figure out that a bunch of Talmudic reading Pharisees fucking Zionists blew up 2 buildings so they could collect the fucking insurance money and send how many billions of dollars in weapons and bombs to destroy a sandbox? Come on. You want Israel to have the Jews? Okay, no problem. Get rid of these Khazarian fucking lineage pieces of shit and let, how we're always telling the fucking black people to go back to where they came from. Well, from what I understand, they're the original Jewish people, so they should have fucking Israel. Shouldn't be no half-white looking stupid. Makes no sense. Did you realize that these fucking Israelites don't even look like they're supposed to live on that side of the world? You figured that out yet? They're supposed to look a hell of a lot more Arabic than they do. Because they are a Semitic nation, apparently. They're Semites, right? Yeah, not one of them's a fucking Semite because they're descendants of Khazaria. They're not descendants of the Jewish people that you understand from your fucking Bible. Which is useless anyway because it was written by a monarch king that you apparently disconnected yourself from so many years ago. And it was so important that you went to war with us over it. And you lost. You didn't go to fucking independence. Declaring independence, you did not declare independence from the king, you moron. You declared your independence from us. The king's on another fucking continent in England. You declared independence from Canada. Want to be friends now? Because we don't have that very much attachment to the monarch anymore. 3%, if I'm not mistaken, 2-3%. Something that allows our money to maintain its value, whatever. Can we be friends now? Or do you still want to have that fucking border there? Because that border's been there for like 200 years, unguarded. You don't really care about us, we don't really care about you. And all of a sudden Trump becomes president and you're going to jump over that shit? No! Fuck back all there before we start to worry about it. We didn't have to worry about it. Now we're going to have to worry about it like you worry about the Mexican border. Smart enough. Jesus Christ. Fucking make my head bleed sometimes. It's your country. Yeah, make it great again. In your own country. Don't come here plotting shit to return. All that's going to happen is make your country want to go to my country. And then I'm going to have to go over there fucking infected with Ebola and kill all of you fuckers. And it's only going to cost 1 Canadian life. I'll walk right up to the military. Inject me with that good shit. Yeah, throw me out of a plane. It's alright, I'll die when I hit supply. Yeah, but I'll infect everything that's around me, won't I? Don't go to war with us. Don't even pretend to go to war with us. You don't have enough fucking weapons that you can use against us. Did you guys know that the cure to Ebola was discovered like 6 or 7 months ago by Canadian scientists because we isolated the new Ebola virus and sent it to 2 universities in this country under high security and scrutiny to make sure that if someone ever so thought that Ebola was a good weapon to use on Canadians, that you'd be wrong? Don't look like we don't protect ourselves properly. You guys really have to smarten up and pay attention to the war. The war is more religious than it is political. When you figure that out, the more interesting it becomes.